All right, happy Friday, everyone. We made it through another week. We only have 4 more weeks of school. Is that crazy or what? So, nothing really new today. I just want to go over a couple problems that we had yesterday that some kids had questions about. So, good job at asking questions. So that way it helps me prepare for what to tell you today. So, Angus is here with us this morning, it looks like. So again, nothing really new as far as learning goes today. Again, just a review of what cube roots are. Cube roots are a number multiplied to itself 3 different times. 3 times, okay? So 3 times 3 times 3 equals 3 cubed. Remember, a square is just twice, 2 times. Yesterday you had some practice with, move this up here, with some, oh, hi Angus, with some equations using square roots and cubes in equations. Oh good, Ruby's going to teach this morning. So hopefully that went okay. I haven't looked at your assignments yet from yesterday. I usually do those the next day. It gives everybody, because some of you like to work at night, which is totally fine. So then I just wait until the next morning before I grade stuff. So I haven't really looked at it, and the only thing I'm going off of is the feedback I have gotten from you as far as, well, I don't understand how to do this one or that one. So then I can cover that right now. So the one we're going to talk about would be the last 2 level up ones. Like level 4 was Parker has a cube made of wood and he wants to paint it. The cubic feet of its cube is 125, so what's his dimensions of the cube? So then we think of that, well, if we know it's a cube, okay, so we know it has these dimensions. It's actually not too bad of a cube. We know overall it's 125 cubic units. So then how do we think of that? Well, there's several ways. For one, we should be starting to memorize this, so we know it's 5, right? If you weren't sure, you could factor that. So it ends in a 5, so our divisibility rules say we know this is divisible by 5. So if I divide 125 by 5, I get 2, and then so we have 25, and then we have 25 is 5 and 5. So here's our 3 5s. So then we know that each side length, or its dimensions, are 5. Okay? So that's how you do that one. You could have done that one. The next part of that is, what would the value of the 6th term in the following pattern be? We had to figure out what the pattern was first. So you had the cube root of 1,728 plus, and then you had that plus 3. I believe, wasn't that 15? I think that was 15, wasn't it? Because didn't it go, I had it written down somewhere. I think I have it written down here. Sorry. Yeah, so that ended up to be 12 plus 3, which was 15. The next one was the cube root of 1,000 plus 2. So the cube root of 1,000 is 10 plus 2, so that was 12. And then the next one is the cube root of 1,331. So that's 11 minus 2, which gives us 9. So each time this is going down. So you could either figure out, well, I'm going to just subtract 3 each time. The 6th term, so the 4th term is 6. The 5th term is 3. So your 6th term would be 0. Then the last one was the one that I had a question about. So you're given a formula of D equals 12 cube root of H. Okay? So I'm going to read the problem so we can understand what what they're asking. So the formula D equals 12 cube root of H can be used to estimate how far you see in miles when you are H feet above the ground. So the H is your height, And the D is the distance in miles, or how far you can see in a distance. Okay? So first you have to understand that. John is painting a water tower that is 125 feet tall. According to the formula, approximately how many miles can John see from the top of the water tower? And explain how you know. So his water tower is 125 feet, right? So that's his height, or that equals h. So you had to just substitute that in. So d equals 12 cube root of 125. Okay? Now we haven't talked a lot about what to do with this number if there's a number on the outside. Well, it's kind of like any other operation. It's kind of an assumed multiply. So just like when we distribute, so if we would have 3 times x plus 1, we know, even though there's not a symbol there, we know that we're going to multiply. So it's the same here. So this is 12 times the cube root of 125. So we want to find out what d is, or how far we can see. We're going to leave the 12 alone. The cube root of 125, well, we just did that one. We know that one is 5. And so our distance is 12 times 5, which is 60 miles. Okay? I hope that answers that question. So today you just have a task card kind of activity. It's like a flashcards activity. Just see how you do. And I think when I made it a long time ago, but I think that you have to drag an emoji, whether you got it right or you didn't get it right. They get progressively more difficult as you go through them. Not super hard. They just get a little more complex as you go through them. And then the second one, oh, it's a puzzle. So you just have to drag and drop so your sides match each other. So that's that one. So you have 2 things to do there. I'm going to do a food activity, Ruby. I'm going to do a food activity later and video that for you. And I'll just put that in the stream. Then Monday, we have one more thing to do on cube roots. And then Tuesday, we will start laws of exponents. So something different. But we have one more thing to do on cube roots before we can move on. So I hope you guys have a great Friday. It's supposed to be a lot nicer weather this weekend and all next week. So if you can, get outside and get some fresh air. Stay away from each other. And have a nice weekend.